Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
All right, Brian, number 3.
Let's do it.
We're it's just Wednesday. I switched my little sign to dirty. That's my little reminder that stay clean, don't get too dirty. But I think I want to integrate comedians into what I just said about Carl Jung. There's an association in my mind. I can't help it if I haven't made it clear yet. But I think comedians are like the modern day Jungs. I mean, we possess responsibility that is beyond measure at this point. I can do stand-up. I do stand-up. I've written thousands of jokes. Right now I'm working on an hour to do that I'm just going to put up on YouTube. It's in conjunction with the podcast. It's in conjunction with getting back into stand-up. I entered a comedy contest at the Mohegan Wisecrackers on June 29th, just to stay fresh. And I don't work on new material nearly enough. I'm very improvisational. I admire Norm MacDonald. I Kathy Griffin with her improvisational abilities. She's got a really interesting documentary if you haven't seen it. Of late, some standouts in helping me, Daryl Hammond, his documentary about years of dissociation. Don't necessarily want to ruin it, but I think if you're male and have survived abuse, survived substance, survived life, very powerful documentary. And for women as too. I mean, his documentary helped me connect the dots about dissociating since I was a child. I had a childhood friend tell me a couple of times things that had gone on, and I mean psychological, emotional things. I want to be clear. I don't mean sexual, physical, and just where the brain goes, just, for food for thought. And the late, great Robin Williams, holy shit. When I was doing stand-up 15 years ago, and I was in a class, where the hell was the class? New York, Gotham. Wow, that was tough. That answer alone needs 6 hours of solitude. But that was who I stood in front of before I went on stage, and just a neurological comedian. Every time I thought I was fucking funny, I would just watch his golf bit and just be brought down to earth. And the funny fucking thing about that is that same performance towards the end, I think, I'm looking at Brian like he's going to fucking know. I think it may have been Madison Square Garden. I don't know. He's got the same outfit on. That's whenever that was. In the end of that same performance, he does an oral sex bit that'll make you piss your pants.
That's the one where he's in his elbow, right?
Oh my God.
Yep.
I didn't see that till I was 50. And
I think was that live on Broadway, I think it was.
Or
was an HBO one or whatever, yeah.
It was the same with the golf.
Yeah.
But I'm 50 years old. It's Christmas. And I honestly felt like I had missed the birth of one of my children. Like, I and then a lot of these guys are fucking filthy, and a lot of fucking women who are comedians are filthy. It just depends on how. I don't know. Just if you can get a hold of it, watch it. And I sat my sons down promptly and made them watch it, because we grew up with. We grew up. You notice that Freudian slip? They grew up. I was really careful about violence. I was really careful about treatment of women, but I did not give a shit about the comedy they were exposed to. With Prince's sexy motherfucker playing in the background. It just didn't occur to me that those things might raise the sons that I raised, but I wouldn't change it. I do apologize to Dick Lick publicly. He said one of the most dramatic things I ever did was share with him an American Werewolf in London, way too young. So shout out. Back to comedians. I have some great stories too. My own experiences. I think I already indicated that I just knew enough to get in front of them. I saw Carlin in '89. I saw Dangerfield in high school. I saw, trying to think going back, Richard Jenny. Trying to think who else. They're not coming to me. More recently, I've seen a whole bunch. Love Wanda Sykes. The way she talks about her partner, it's hysterical. I have stories. If this podcast ever takes off, I have to talk to Howie Mandel, because I had an experience with him in Binghamton, New York, that I'm not sure really fucking happened. I had a great experience with Ron White. He signed my tits with a Sharpie. I don't know which one of us was more in the bag. I do think he compared comedy to pitchers, the way that every pitcher pitches a little differently, but I might be smoking the green on that. I have a great Lisa Lampanelli story. Oh my God. One of my favorites. She called my nephew. I don't want to go there. Hello, Lisa. And I have the most recent funny story that I will tell another time is with Jeff Ross, when he started his Take the Banana for the wherever the fuck he takes it ride. I have a great story with him, and it was right before my mother left her body. So he really, I wish I had that on film. He really is a mush. That's all I'll say. If I was ever going to roast somebody, it would have to be CK. Like, fucking sign me up. And I would do it in such a way that it would redeem him. In fact, I saw him fairly recently. He was working on some material, and I found his material very boundaried. And I'm like, oh, you poor son of a bitch. You have to be boundaried. But I have a card that says tits and assets. Thank you to my broker-dealer for approving that. And I handed it to him, and on the back I just wrote redemption, and I figured he's going to think I'm fucked up or, not. Needless to say, the call didn't come. But I just really, I have a motivation for helping men that when their shadow takes over. Women too. It's not just about men. But I am a female, and I am preoccupied with the divine masculine. So Mr. Carlin. Before we go to Carlin, I have a book on my desk that I have my hand on, and it's Playboy interviews. And I wanted to focus on Carlin, but I'm starting to realize who else is in this book, and my hands are like responding to the energy. It's a very strange thing. I don't recommend it. I want to just say that this responsibility that comedians have, SNL has, I would love to see Women's Variety have this same responsibility. I'd love to see a women's variety show. Kate McKinnon, like so many women that do just so many great things. But, you know, Dave Chappelle, I think, has kind of taken the bull by the horns. Bill Burr, I've already mentioned. It's funny, Bill Burr has grown on me like fungus, and he's a ginger. So, you know, there's that. It's so remarkable to see these comedians, many comedians, male comedians, show the value of their spouse, their wives. It's important. It's important shit. All right. I'm getting a little too distracted. All right. This is Carlin from a Playboy interview in 2005. He speaks to, and this is just my way of honoring him. His book, Brain Droppings, is very, very, very funny. But I tend to learn more from interviews. I love listening to male comedians in particular. God forgive me. And interviews. Love listening to Jim Carrey in interviews. That's, I think, where you learn the most. So this is his interview, and it's just like I said, way to honor him. My comedy developed in the 40s, 50s, and in the 50s especially were a time when comedy stopped being safe and stopped focusing on kids today and my wife's shopping habits. For the first time, comedy became about saying no to authority. It was about individualism and people who had identities of their own and weren't just telling jokes. Lenny Bruce, Mort Saul, Dick Gregory, Bob Newhart, Shelley Berman, Nichols and May. And there are a few more in there. Jonathan Winters and Lord Buckley, who wasn't a big figure but was very important to comedians. You're welcome. That evolved into Second City and the type of comedy that led to SNL. Then the 80s saw the comedy club boom. People discovered they could take a fairly inexpensive storefront, put in cheap furniture and a bad sound system, pay the comics very little, if anything, and then keep the whiskey money. These clubs exploited comedians in front of 100 simple brick wall backdrops, and it really hurt comedy. Oh, we got a brick wall backdrop.
It's only now that I realized how cliche that is. Fuck.
Well, you thought it was fucking original when I got here. I went with it. Focus on the logo. Anyway, do you like my logo, everybody? Do you like the fucking rooster I feminized? I did put balls, a pecker, and a coccyx on her. All right, I digress. You had a lot of clubs, so you needed people to perform in them. You'd get these guys whose friends told them, yo, Joey, you're a fucking pisser. You ought to be a comedian. Then in the 90s, clubs became about getting somewhere else. How can I use this to get into the movies or land a sitcom? So your friend Joey was suddenly Harry, the neighbor, or the delivery boy in every 6th episode of some stupid sitcom. Which isn't to say great comedians didn't come up through the clubs. Letterman came out of them, and so did Robin Williams and Jerry Seinfeld. I didn't understand Seinfeld till he came out on the spectrum. And I don't want to do him an injustice, but I was of the Frasier generation. And it's not that I didn't recognize that Seinfeld was funny. It just, maybe it's because let me not go there now. Fuck it. Okay. Okay, so, which isn't to say great comedians didn't come up through the clubs. Letterman came out of them, and so did Robin Williams and Jerry Seinfeld. But I think too many people were plucked from there and asked to do too much. I'm resentful that Eddie Murphy doesn't do stand-up anymore. Yeah, so am I. He's a fucking brilliant stand-up. So is Steve Martin, one of my all-time heroes. But there's always hope for comedians. You know why? These comic fuckers live a long time. You notice how long fucking George Burns, Groucho Marx, Milton Berle, and all of these cocksuckers lived? I think it's because comedy gives you a way of renewing life energy. There's something about the release of tension that comes from being a comic, having a comedic mind that makes you live forever. Only the offbeat ones die young. John Belushi, Freddie Prinze, Andy Kaufman, Bill Hicks, Sam Kinison, and now Mitch Hedberg, another great one. These people all had very different universes to offer us, and they've always been taken away. Oh, Kaufman, man. Kaufman. Whew. I think, and I didn't expect to say this, but I think some of these men in particular and women who, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to open a can of worms. Where are we time-wise?
15 minutes. You got plenty of time to open it.
I think a lot of male comedians rub up against the spectrum, rub up against ADHD, of course. My favorite man is an ADHD man with an autistic kicker, the opposite of myself, I might add. It's same with women. I venture to say that women who, let me put this a different way. Many years ago, I met a brilliant neurologist, and for me to call a neurologist brilliant says a lot. And he told me about 20 years ago that the most common misdiagnosis of women on the spectrum was bipolar, and no disrespect to bipolar or borderline, which are often aligned with trauma, but I just see so many women struggle that the autistic diagnosis could perhaps spare them grief, can create grief too. I hope to go there, especially twofold because of my interest in neurology, the manifestation on psychology, and in comedy. It's just such an important distinction for women. And I'll close that can. There was something that came up for me. I was hoping while I was thinking would come back, and it had something to do. Chris Farley. I mentioned Daryl Hammond and his influence on my recognition of experiencing dissociation, which is different from disassociation. And I don't necessarily I can't right now. I can't distinguish those two things for you. I'm not left-brained enough. I don't have that linear sequential thing that most vaginas have. I have to concentrate on creating pictures and transforming them to words. I think in patterns, pictures, and numbers. So very helpful in finance, very helpful in comedy. Sucks most other places. Chris Farley, always appreciated him when he was alive, but again, I'm going to try to do it justice. Very often when I watch something like Daryl Hammond's documentary, I can't watch it again. It's too painful. So, if I don't speak to it with greater clarity, it's because I learned something from it. I moved on. Same with Chris Farley. Very, very helpful with my own family, who I don't intend to pick on too much, only what they deserve. And that's up to me to decide. My brain wants to tell you a joke. Shit. Let me just see. Chris Farley, he didn't point it out himself. I don't remember the documentary I watched, but ultimately, whoever was speaking about him, somebody close to him, was speaking about how within his family, and again, this isn't a throw somebody under the bus moment. It's meant to, in my case, it was great relief because of the family I had grown up in. Humor had become too cruel. And it's not that you can't make everything funny, but you also have to recognize and appreciate where other people are, whether it's their age or their experiences. You just have to have a level of compassion to recognize that, yeah, you can make everything funny, but then you also have to appreciate somebody's experiences. And it has to work into your personal relationships. It has to work into what you can get away with saying. I tell some horrible trauma jokes, and they're funny because they're horrible. I think this would be a great segue, and bring me back if you have to, because now my brain's this is why I want to make Fridays filthy, because my brain's like, enough of this left brain bullshit, like fuck it, like you don't got much longer, Seki. So my energy's changing too. I hate it, love it, hate it, love it. Yeah, my brain's not gonna cooperate. The funny thing that I thought of a few minutes ago was my last name, Seki. And was my father's name. So let me put it that way. It's my mother's name too. Ouch. Sorry, Ma. Those two. Whew. Holy shit. Yeah. I need to talk about them soon. Go away. So, my last name, Seki's, in the Urban Dictionary, means the second orgasm. It literally means the second nut. That's the kid's word, nutting. We can't even give women the credit. Anyway, see. Okay, let it go. So, so I am truly the second coming. This is the Mary Magdalene thing. This is the fucking Mary Magdalene thing. I was led to Magdalene after my spiritual awakening. And to tell you that I even contemplated Magdalene's existence before my spiritual awakening would be a fucking lie. See, I can't talk about the energy of all these comedians and not want to go there. It sucks. I love it. It sucks. I love it. Where are we?
We're at 22 minutes.
All right. So we're gonna like, I think, speed it up a little and go into the gutter, see what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And then we'll redeem ourselves in number 5 with maybe some reflection.
I'm for it.
You got no fucking choice.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you. Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. J-Ma.